As far as Tank, your personal preference, who would you want to get in the ring with?
Well, the only person I'm really looking at is Pitbull.
Pitbull? What did you think of his performance against
Been off for a little while.
Yeah,
but he got the job done. The guy was tough, had a good chin, he did what he was supposed to.
Yo, it's good everyone. This is Ayo Boxing with Madiba, and we're here to talk about Gervonta Tank Davis fighting Isaac Pitbull Cruz next. So based on what Calvin Ford said, it looks like Isaac Pitbull Cruz will be the next opponent for Tank Davis. And this is disappointing news, to be honest. And don't get me wrong, the Tank versus Pitbull rematch will definitely be an entertaining fight, and I want to see Tank back in the ring as soon as possible. But Pitbull has done nothing to deserve this rematch, and Tank has way better options and opponents to choose from. But looking back at it, this rematch was inevitable. Tank and Pitbull Cruz are going to get criticized for this fight, especially Tank, but to be honest, I think boxing fans should also be blamed for this rematch. Let me explain. The only reason why Pitbull Cruz got a chance to fight Tank Davis in the first place was because he was a late replacement. Tank was supposed to fight Rolly Romero in December of 2021, but he had to pull out the fight due to SA allegations. Pitbull was then introduced as a last-minute replacement, and I'm pretty sure it was 3 or 4 weeks from the fight. At the time, Pitbull was unknown by the majority of boxing fans, despite having some decent wins on his record. Because of this, many fans criticized Tank for this opponent choice and expected him to knock out Pitbull easily. But as we all know, that wasn't the case because Pitbull gave Tank his hardest fight to date. It was a very good performance by Pitbull, and a good amount of fans thought that Pitbull won the fight. A lot of fans called for a rematch. And even though the pay-per-view did terrible for that fight, Pitbull became an instant star and a fan favorite within the sport of boxing. He was crowned as the next and new up-and-coming Mexican boxer and the only one capable of beating Tank Davis at the time. And because of what Tank said in the post-fight interview,
does this deserve a rematch?
Hell no, but I appreciate him taking the opportunity.
A strong narrative that Tank was afraid to rematch Pitbull Cruz was created by boxing fans and then pushed by the boxing channels and social media pages. And this narrative is the reason why we're getting this rematch. And now the same people that were pushing this narrative are mad about the rematch. Another example of how fickle boxing fans are. And truth be told, this could have been a welcome and widely accepted rematch if only Pitbull Cruz did something to deserve it. I've already covered this in previous videos concerning Pitbull, but he has done nothing to deserve the rematch. Pitbull has fought no one of note since losing to Tank in 2021, despite having the chance to fight big and notable names during that time period. He's taken the path of least resistance to get a Tank fight, and the boxing world let it happen. There was no real criticism of Cruz's choices of opponents, and no real pressure put on Cruz to fight better names. And to be honest, I have to give an applause to Manny Pacquiao Promotions and Sean Gibbons on how they moved Pitbull Cruz, because this wouldn't have worked for any other boxer. And when you look at Tank, everyone wants to see him fight the elite and big names at lightweight and at 140. The biggest criticism that Tank gets is his resume. In my opinion, I think that Tank has a good resume that often gets overlooked, but at the stage of his career that he's at right now, his resume should be better than what it is. Tank should have already fought an elite lightweight by now. And if you look at Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney, who are both younger than Tank, they've already fought and beat elite guys. But now is the perfect time for Tank to do so because the lightweight division, along with the 140 division, is stacked with elite and big names. But Tank picks Pitbull Cruz. Maybe because Pitbull is a PBC fighter, but Tank being the cash cow at these divisions mean he has enough power and leverage to fight anyone, regardless of the political barriers. He just did that with Ryan Garcia, and with the hype surrounding him coming out of jail, the boxing world wants to see Tank. However, in an interview that Calvin Ford did with YSM Sports, shout out to them, Ford did express some interest in a Haney fight.
Biggest fight available for Gervonta Davis outside of Pitbull Cruz.
Opposite of no defeats and 2 draws, representing Junquito Humacao.
It's hard to say. It's mixed up now, you know. If they willing to come down and get their bag.
Definitely, yeah. Devin moved to 40, but he hasn't relinquished all the belts. So,
like I say, if they willing to come down and get you paid, it's up to them.
thanks, Mr. Ford. I appreciate it.
And to be honest, he could be talking about Devin Haney or Teofimo Lopez. Both would be better and bigger fights for Tank, but it seems like they're not pressed to make those fights and would rather have those guys come to them, which I find annoying. Calvin Ford always seems to do this when it comes to Devin Haney for some reason. I also find it interesting how Shakur hasn't really said much about Tank Davis, despite the fact that Shakur is constantly calling people out on Twitter. Regardless, if Tank beats Pitbull Cruz in the rematch, which I'm expecting to happen, I doubt that he will get full credit, despite the fact that the fans were the ones who instigated this rematch. But who knows, this is boxing, anything can happen. But thank you for tuning in with Ayo Boxing with Madiba. Hit like, subscribe, and more content's coming your way.